If I look exactly like I did in my last video, that is because I am filming these videos back to back. So please be really nice about that. And just like I said in the last video, please be mindful. I cannot control any sound you hear from outside. People are setting off fireworks because it's the night before 4th of July. So if you hear any zips or whizzing sounds or explosions, that is just the fireworks. Hey guys, it's Lilith. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a very different kind of video than we usually do. Anyone who's already subscribed to my channel knows that I usually make videos about spiritual stuff, especially about reality shifting, but today is a very different kind of video. I recently decided to do like a DIY computer bag sort of thing because when I edit my YouTube videos, I don't always want to really edit them in my house. So I decided I would take my editing out to like a coffee shop or a library or something, and I needed a bag for my computer. This project was inspired by a bag that I saw on the both TikTok and YouTube of a guy whose username is Nevermind_Tyler. I will tag him in the description because even though I didn't completely make my bag identical to his, it is super heavily inspired by his bag because I just fell in love with it. I love how like maximalist it was and covered in stuff it was, and I was like, you know what, I really want a bag that is super maximalist and is kind of a throwback to my days as an emo teen. I am still, I would technically say, alternative, but I feel like in my teen years I was a lot more like directly emo, and I was listening to a lot of Pierce the Veil and MCR and Black Veil Brides, and I had like the whole angry black and pink hair sitting in my room with a black light on writing poetry about how no one understood me. And I really missed that, and when I found his account and it was all like throwback emo content, it made me really happy and really nostalgic. And so I decided what I wanted to do was have like a bag that was inspired by my emo days and looked like a bag that my emo teenage self would carry. So that is exactly what I did. And that is how this was born. She is loud. She's got a lot going on. There's even stuff on the giant strap. But I wanted to take you on a tour of this very cool, very loud bag, and I just thought it would be fun. So first and foremost, the bag itself is a black messenger bag that was gotten from Amazon. It's a plain black one. I added all of the stud work to the bag myself. I think there's about 75-ish, give or take a few, on the entire bag. The stud work goes all the way up both sides of the strap. There are 10 studs across the bottom of the front of the bag. There are 5 studs on each of the side pockets. The other one's a little hard to see past all the keychains. And then there are 5 on each of the front pockets. I believe the studs are called pyramid studs. I saw them in both silver and gold, but I do prefer the look of silver studs. They are kind of short. I like that they don't come up too far. And I did see some where you could like, I think like screw the back on, but these are the kind where if you look at the back, there's like these little like almost like stick or like prongs, kind of like forked almost. There's 4 on the back of each one, and you shove it through the material, and then I used pliers to bend down each little hook so it stays in. The beginning to end of doing all of these studs on my bag took 6.5 hours. It will not take 6.5 hours for everybody. It took 6.5 hours for me because I am also including not just putting on like these studs, but I'm also including, I just hit myself in the face with it, I'm also including putting on all of the keychains and all of the buttons into that 6.5 hour time. I also took a couple of breaks in the middle of doing all of that because I do have carpal tunnel in this wrist and hand, and I have a permanent disability in this wrist that causes me a lot of pain. So using pliers and also using my hands to individually shove like 70+ buttons into different types of thick material for this bag was really painful, and I did have to take a lot of breaks during that. I did add a few more keychains over the next few days. I actually got another keychain for it today that is now on the bag, but I think after I finished the bag, I added like 3 more keychains individually. The back of it is completely bare, although I do want to eventually put patches on the back of it. The goal is to put patches on the back that have to do with like bands that I like or movies that I'm really into. That's kind of the goal for that. But I really wanted the rest of the bag to be completely covered because it's the part you can actually see. So everything else has buttons and studs on it. I also really love these studs because they remind me of those belts that all of us had when we were emo teens, where it was like covered in like rows of this. And I remember when I was a teenager, people wouldn't even use the belt loops. It was like you would take like 2 of them and put them like across your hips like that, so they crossed over in an X across your crotch, and that was just like the thing. I never had one. I wasn't much of a belt person. I don't know, I didn't really care that much. I wore a lot of like longer shirts, so I was like, you can't see it anyway. So I didn't really have them. I do want one now to, that's the fireworks, to live out my emo teen fantasy. And I just thought that this was the perfect thing to do. The chain that you see across the front here is actually a chain that I used to wear on the belt loops of my pants. I had 2 silver chains and like a gunmetal gray one. I'm wearing the gunmetal gray one on my jean shorts right now, but I had 2 of these silver ones, and when I wear them on my pants, I really prefer to have the other one like actually on my pants because it's got like lobster claw hooks. These have almost these like little, like, I don't know what you would call this like loop more than anything, and I kept feeling like they were gonna slide off of my pants, but the metal of this is like so thick that this isn't gonna just like slide off. Like I had to like force it on. So I felt a lot more secure about this one being on here. I also like the fact that where they're placed, if I want it across the back of the bag and not to sit on the front, then it very easily sits on the back of the bag. But I do really prefer to have it living on the front. It adds to the noise. Part of the reason I like this bag so much is when Tyler had his bag and he was moving it, I loved how noisy it was. I loved the ASMR of it. Like, I love that. There's a keychain on here that's plastic. Like, you can hear that sound. I prefer the plastic on plastic sound, even though there's a lot of like metal on here. I prefer the plastic sounds over the metal sounds, but I love that this bag is so extra. So I'm gonna lower the camera because it's hard to keep picking the bag up and knowing what you're looking at because I keep covering my own face. But I am going to show you all the buttons and the keychains and everything on this bag and just kind of take you on a tour through it so that if you want something similar to my bag, you can do something similar to it. But I will also try to remember to the best of my ability where each thing on here is from. Not gonna do a great job of it, but I will try. So time to lower the camera. Having you guys down here, very weird for me. Let's start off with this side of the bag because there is less stuff to show off over here. I did decide to get some safety pins and put them on this side of the strap because there's nothing else over here except for this buckle, and it felt really empty here because I have buttons on the other side of the strap, so it felt kind of empty over here. These might eventually get moved in favor of putting some buttons here, but I just wanted to have just some little safety pins for just added effect so this side of the bag didn't look so empty, which is also why I added 3 random safety pins onto this keychain, mostly for the noise. You will learn throughout this video the noise is my favorite part. This bag was a gift from my sister. It looks like a little tiny ghost face backpack. It's actually got like decent room in it. There's nothing in it right now because today is the first time I actually carried the bag outside the house, so there's nothing in it yet. But I love the idea of this little bag being like where you could keep like a self-defense keychain or loose change, chapstick. Like, I just thought it was super cute. And this is the side of the bag that's like less clunky and noisy, so I thought it was perfect to put over here. And then we move on to the front of the bag. Hopefully you can actually see all the buttons. The ring light is kind of bright on it now that I'm looking at it. I'm gonna go ahead and move the chain so you can see all the buttons better. I believe on the bag, including here and the strap, I think there's a total of 34, I think 34 buttons on the entire bag. And we're gonna go through them together. This is a button that says "Have a nice die." My sister got this for me. Most of the stuff on this bag came from my sister. And a lot of these buttons I won't remember if they came from Hot Topic or Spencer's. So brace for that. This one I know for a fact is from Spencer's, and it's got a little Grim Reaper on it. I can't remember if this one is from Hot Topic or if it's from Spencer's, but it is a black button with a red heart that has a woman kissing a skeleton. This button is of the Justice Tarot card. I believe it's from Spencer's, but it might be from Hot Topic, so I'm not super sure. This emu one, I also don't know if it's from Hot Topic or Spencer's. A lot of these are, if you want to find it, you have to check the Hot Topic or the Spencer's to find it. But I love that it's like a little emo cow. I saw it in the store and I was like, me. I like this button because it's shaped like a coffin. It's a little skull and says "You're mine" on it. Again, don't remember if this is Hot Topic or Spencer's. This is an angry skull that says, "Don't talk to me, I'm overstimulated and I will hurt your feelings." I love this one. My sister literally pulled it out of a bin of other buttons in Spencer's and was like, "That is so you, it's not even funny." This is a pride flag button that I've had for a couple of years. It used to be on my gym bag. I don't know where this is from. My best guess is that maybe it's from Hot Topic or Spencer's, but I have had it for like 3+ years and it's been on my gym bag for a long time, so I don't actually know where it's from. This button says "I heart vampires." I got it from an Etsy shop that was selling vampire themed buttons in a pack of 5. All 5 of those buttons are on this bag, but I do like this one a lot. This one says "Witchcraft and Chill." This is another one that I pulled from my gym bag that's been there for years and I have no idea where I got it from. Overstimulated and underfucked. I'm not going to be able to bleep my swear words out the whole time in this video because there are buttons that have swear words on them, so I'm going to have to leave those in. So anyone who's used to my videos where like I bleep out all my swearing for monetization purposes, I'm so sorry. Overworked and underfucked, definitely from Spencer's. This one says "I'm tired of this, Grandpa." I don't remember if this is from Spencer's or Hot Topic, but I want to say it's from Spencer's. It is a reference to the movie Holes, and this is a quote that me and my brother and sister say to each other literally like every day. This is a button of just like a hot anime girl. If I can get the light off of it for a second. Please focus a little bit. It's just like a random hot anime girl on a gray button. It's from Spencer's. I just got it because I thought it was cute. This is a black button that says "Let's do this before the anxiety kicks in." This is very me. Your girl has an anxiety disorder. I really wanted the main theme of the bag to be like emo throwback, but I also really wanted it to be like mentally ill neurodivergent humor. So I think I accomplished that. This one says "Please be patient. I have autism," because I feel like it's fair to warn people that they need to be patient with me because I will have a breakdown. It is from Spencer's. I also believe this one's from Spencer's, by the way. I forgot to say. There's this cute little sad ghost. I love him. He's adorable. This is another one from my gym bag. I do not remember where this came from, but like all the other buttons that come from my gym bag, it's most likely from Hot Topic or Spencer's. This is a little Metallica button. This, I believe, came from Spencer's. This is a little spell book on a white button that says "Don't hex my vibe." I pulled this from my gym bag. Don't know where it's from. Most likely from Hot Topic or Spencer's. This one that says "I heart emo bitches." Definitely from Spencer's. I love this one. It's the only heart-shaped one that I have, and I thought it was a very appropriate statement. This one says "The Power of 3" on it. It's a reference to the TV show Charmed. It's one of my favorite TV shows from my childhood. Anyone who knows me knows that I love anything that has to do with witches or vampires, and this was like my big obsession as a child. This is why I have a tattoo of a triquetra on the left side of my chest, and it's also something that makes me think of my mom, so I decided to get this. This, I believe, was procured from Spencer's. I'm not going to say this word out loud because it'll get me demonetized. I don't know if showing it will get me demonetized. But just in case, I just thought it was fair people knew what they were getting into if they spoke to me. It's obviously from Spencer's because Hot Topic's not going to sell that. This button down here just says "mozzarella sticks." It has a picture of mozzarella sticks on it. I thought it was funny. It made me think of my brother because my brother has a love of mozzarella sticks and cheese like no other, but he is in fact lactose intolerant. There's buttons on this bag that make me think of pretty much all of the people that I love most in my life. The Charmed button makes me think of my mom. The Metallica button makes me think of my dad. He's the one that introduced me to Metallica. And this makes me think of my brother. This one makes me think of both my brother and my sister. This Justice button does make me think of my best friend Carly. One of these buttons I haven't shown you yet makes me think of my girlfriend. This other big one over here makes me think of my sister because she's a jerk and she found this for me in Spencer's and it says tummy ache survivor. And this is because she knows that when I get really anxious, I have tummy troubles. And even when I get tarot card readings from my best friend, I'm constantly getting the tummy troubles card. So she handed me this in the store and she went, "This is for you." And I was really upset. There is another button that does make me think of my sister on the bag, but it's on the strap. This is the tarot card of the devil. This was also gotten at Spencer's? Yeah, at Spencer's. I didn't realize how close these two buttons were together. Holy shit. Oh no, they're touching. They're not supposed to be touching, that they're close. I didn't realize these two were basically overlapping. I'm gonna have to move this one a hair this way. But this is a Coraline button. I love the movie Coraline. It actually re-released in theaters last year, and I saw it in theaters with my mom. We were the only people in the theater that saw it, and I loved it. I love this movie so much. I also really like the book, even though Neil Gaiman is a terrible person. I do not support Neil Gaiman, but I do love this book, and I do love this movie. I believe it has words on it. Yeah, it says "Be Strong, Coraline." It's kind of hard to see because it's very similar to like the button color. But I can't remember if this one was purchased at Hot Topic or Spencer's, but it's one of the two. There is also another button right below it that is touching it, and it's bothering me how close together they are. That says "Vampires Rule." This was purchased on Etsy in a pack of 5 with this one. This is just a plain black button that has white text on it that says "I hate it here." Don't know where this is from. I pulled this off of my gym bag, but it's most likely from either Hot Topic or Spencer's. This is another plain black button with white text. It says "Introverts aggressively." I am guessing this is either from Spencer's or Hot Topic because this is another one that was pulled from my gym bag. This one says "I like cats more than I like you." Thought that was very cute. My cat lives with my sister, so I thought this would be a nice way to represent my cat. Not gonna talk about the details of the photo on that one. Oh, please focus. Maybe it's a good thing it won't focus. It says "Match my freak," and if you can see the picture, kind of, it's weird. This is my girlfriend's kind of humor, and my girlfriend thought this was hilarious, so I thought that this would be really, really great to remind me of my partner's really weird humor, because what other person besides me is going to think that, oh please, because what other person besides me is going to think this button is funny? I thought it was adorable and funny, and she also did, so I decided to get it. And then there's this one down here that also came in the Vampire 5 pack that says "Got Blood." I have a few more buttons, but they are on the strap. I'm gonna stay on like the front for now. There's also these pyramid studs across the bottom. I did these by hand, just like the ones on the strap. I'll show you a better view of the strap here in a second now that the camera's down here. There's a total of 10 studs. They are not in a perfect line. They are a little bit askew, but I kind of like that. I like the DIY feel of it. There is also some more safety pins over here. I don't know why, but when I was an emo teen, I remember all of us being really, really obsessed with the imagery of like, I don't know, it was a lot of safety pins, it was a lot of lock and keys, it was a lot of like sad frowny faces, it was a lot of bleeding hearts, like, and this was something that I thought was like perfect to put on here because this is supposed to be so reminiscent of like my emo teen days, that I thought it would be perfect to put some safety pins on here. Plus I think that those really filled out that extra like empty space between the sad ghost and the IBS duck. And this is what all those buttons look like with the chain down in front of it. The chain does tend to get stuck under a couple of buttons and you have to go in and kind of pull them out. But I like the noise that the chain makes when it touches all the buttons. There is like some little spots for like other buttons or like to separate buttons around down here. But that's all the stuff that's on the front. I will show you a better view of the strap now that you're down there. This is the thing that's on the side. I'm probably going to put other stuff on here on this side that's just like the less loud stuff, like this bag. But you can see the pins right here. These rows are about 2 inches apart, except for the ones that are about here, because I wanted this to stay right here so that the strap could stay as long as it is. I wanted it to be able to be long enough to be down by my hip while I'm carrying it on one shoulder, and if I crossbody it, for it to be a little higher on my side. So these are farther apart than 2 inches, but all of the other rows all the way down both sides of the strap, it is 3 across every 2 inches. Just like with the studs that are on the pockets and across the front of the bag, they are kind of messed up. They are not in a super straight line. Some of them are a little crooked, but I did do it by hand and it took me several hours. And I am really happy with it and really proud of the way that the strap turned out. The strap is actually my favorite part. There are 4 buttons here on the strap. This is one of the other ones that came in the vampire bag that I bought from Etsy, like the 5 buttons bag. It says, I like to bite. I like that they're really small like this. This is another one from Spencer's that says so fucked. This white button here with fangs and a smiley face is the last of the buttons from the vampire baggie that I bought off of Etsy. My sister, this was really what sold her on like helping me decide which buttons to get from Etsy, because she was like, this kind of reminded her of the cover of a book series we used to see people read when we were teens, because we were both very emo teens. We never read it, but we're pretty sure that it was called like The Life and Chronicles of Vladimir Todd. And this reminded us of like how like all the other emo teens were reading this. And we thought that it was just like the cutest little thing. And then this button is a red D20. My mom got this for me. I do not know where she got it from. I want to say she got it from like Five Below or FYE. But it came in a pack of 2. The other one is a bright green D10, I believe. And I put that on my gym bag because I did have to pull like 6 of my buttons off to put on this bag. And there was only 3 buttons left on that one, so it seemed a little empty. So I put the green D10 on the other bag, and I put the red D20 on this one because I thought the red would work better with the theme of this bag. But there's a couple more spots in between rows on here that I want to put buttons, and then I want to put buttons between all of these. For right now, the only thing that's over here is the safety pins. This is also the only button on the entire bag that isn't like the kind where you shove the little hook through. I don't know if it's called like the safety pin on the back of it or whatever. This is the only kind that's like a push through with like a little clasp on the back of it. And I couldn't really put it anywhere but here because the back of it's like kind of blunt, so it wasn't going to fit anywhere except between the threads of the strap. The strap is the thinnest part of the bag, honestly, which is why it was easiest to get studs through here, especially by hand, because the material of the front of the bag and the pockets is a lot thicker. It's really, really quality. And so it was the easiest to get studs through here, and this was the only place I could really get this button to go. Now, onto the last and loudest part of the bag. This is all of the keychains. So we are going to start with all the stuff in the back because these are like the not as loud ones, and then we'll get to the loud ones in the front. Just had to adjust the camera for a second. This little guy gets hidden underneath all of the keychains, so no one really notices it, but I love it, and I really wanted a reason to show it instead of it just sitting in my jewelry box. This was my one-day wristband when I went to a day of Sonic Temple, which is where I got this t-shirt from. Sonic Temple was my very first music festival. I went there with my friend Link, and I loved being able to be at a music festival. It was a little hard on me as a disabled person, but it was really special to me because I hadn't been to a concert since I was like 6 years old and went to see NSYNC. And it was an all-metal concert, and I got to see Sleep Token in person live. They are my favorite band ever, and this was really a reminder to me about being able to see my favorite band live with my oldest friend, but also because I got to see other really amazing bands live. I got to see Flyleaf and Breaking Benjamin. I got to see In This Moment, who I had only become a fan of on the drive to the fest, and then got to hear some of my favorite songs from them while I was there. And on the way out, I got to hear parts of a Pantera concert. So I was really excited about that because I'd never heard Pantera music before, and they were genuinely the loudest band that was there all day. There were other days of this concert that I would have loved to have gone to, but I did not get the chance. And I'm so sad because they had Black Veil Brides there another day, and my teenage self would have died a little bit had I been able to do that. But this was like the most YN self-insert fanfic Wattpad moment of my life, because my friend texted me the day before the concert and was like, hey, I don't have anyone to go with me to this concert. I already have the ticket. You don't have to pay for anything. Do you just like want to come with me? And so I got to see multiple really great bands for free, and it was like the best day. Again, it was a really hard day disability wise, and I look back on it with a lot of sadness and discomfort because of that, but seeing Sleep Token was so completely worth all the pain from disability things and from neurodivergency. And I just had like great memories from that, and I wanted to be able to put this on something, and when people ask me about it, I get to talk about the fact that I went to that festival, and all I brought home was this really cool t-shirt. So this is like the quietest thing that's on the bag. This keychain was also from my sister. She bought me this little pack of, it was like a mystery keychain thing where you could get one of 6 different cats that are holding a weapon, and that just seemed like my sister. So this keychain reminds me a lot of her, and it's a little brown cat holding a chainsaw covered in blood. This keychain is actually a holder for my hand sanitizer. Ironically enough, the one that's inside of it is the vampire blood scent from Bath and Body Works. My sister got this for me a couple of years ago. I have 3 different kinds of these that are like the Halloween hand sanitizer holders, and the one that I keep on my bag regularly has a little ghost on it, and the one that I put on it during the fall looks like a pumpkin spice iced coffee that has a little jack-o'-lantern face on it. But I like this one because there's a button on the back that if you push it, it really adds to the noise and the obnoxiousness of this bag, which I really, really wanted it to be as obnoxious as humanly possible, that it lights up and makes noise. I don't love that this doesn't go any further in there. With my other hand sanitizer holder, it goes all the way up to the cap. This one sticks half out, but it's still in there pretty decently, so that's good. But I love the dripping hand look. This other one that's on the back, I just kind of threw this on because I was like, I need more keychains on the back. This is another little mystery bag keychain. This one was in a different bag of Disney villains. This is Scar from The Lion King. I do love Scar from The Lion King. I feel like Be Prepared is a really great Disney song. Originally, when I was doing this, I was hoping to get Maleficent, but Scar is still good too. So I put him back here with the other like kind of like rubbery, not a lot of noise, clunky ones. And they sit in the back with the wristband, and all of the noisy ones are up here in the front. So we're just going to start with the stuff that's like actually up on this little front hook here. Again, I talked about how there was a lot of imagery of like lock and keys when I was an emo teenager. This is an old diary lock from like a little cheap diary that I had in elementary school. I kept it for some reason just because I thought it was fun. I think I still have the keys to this somewhere. But I have like 2 or 3 of these, and I wasn't using it for anything. It was just sitting in my jewelry box, and I thought it really like was like a harken back to when I was that who loved lock and key imagery, which is also why I have this Alice in Wonderland key. I know it's got Helena Bonham Carter on it, and Helena Bonham Carter is not a good person, but I do love characters that she happens to have played, and I thought the Red Queen was like a very bizarre character. And I do love this version of Alice in Wonderland. Sadly, Helena Bonham Carter is in some of my favorite movies. My favorite movie ever is Sweeney Todd, A Demon Barber of Fleet Street, and I do have a poster on my wall that I've had for about a decade of her character from that movie. But I found this key in a mall kiosk when I was like 15 or something like that, and I was completely obsessed with it. It has a picture of Erasabeth on one side, and then it says off with his head on the other side. It's not even a cut key. It's not even a key I used for my home or anything. It's an uncut key that I got at a mall kiosk for like $10 just because it was that. And I was like, one day I will find a use for this, I promise. And no one believed me, and it sat in my jewelry box for almost 15 years. Never pulled out, never put on anything, nothing. And it finally has its time, because when I was an emo teen, I was obsessed with lock and key imagery, and so were a lot of my emo friends. So I have a little lock and key on my bag. Also on this same little blue hook, I do have 2 of these hooks. This is the small blue one, and then there's like the big silver one back here. The other thing that's on this little blue hook, I actually got today when I went to Five Below. This is a little keychain that's like a Funko keychain of Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think she's sewing in this. And I really wanted something on the bag to represent Nightmare Before Christmas. The thing is, I'm not a huge Nightmare Before Christmas person. I do watch Nightmare Before Christmas every year at Halloween, and I do have like a Nightmare Before Christmas jacket and stuff. But to me, when it came to like Tim Burton films that I was watching a lot, even now when I still watch ones that I own on DVD, I do own the DVD of this, but I watch it maybe once a year. My favorite claymation from him is, honestly, it's probably Corpse Bride. I just love Corpse Bride. I think it's a great movie, and I have liked his movies ever since I was a teenager, and I'm so obsessed with Sally. I think that she's iconic, so I thought she would be perfect for the bag. And then we move on to the big keychain holder. These, this and the little blue one were just like hanging on my other purse because I have a bunch of keychains on that too. This is scratching the crap out of me. And there was nothing hanging on it, so I decided to put all of these keychains on there. Some of these were bought off of Etsy, some were thrifty type things, and we're going to go through and I'm going to show you each individual thing. We do not support J.K. Rowling in this house. We support trans people in this house. I only buy Harry Potter stuff from Etsy, eBay, used game stores, and used bookstores now, so she does not get any money from me ever again, which is why this keychain of Snape is from Etsy. I just got this week. Don't know how I feel about this little thing that's also on here, but at least it's something that's here to add to the noise. It is kind of like rubbery feeling though, so like it's more of like a bonk sound. But I love this little keychain of him. I think he's so cute. There's like another little hook thingy over here, but like there's nothing on it, and it came with nothing on it, so I don't know, but it's on this like little blue hook here. I love Snape. He is one of my favorite Harry Potter characters ever. I'm completely obsessed with him. I have Funkos that I got at used stores of him. My friend gave me an ethically sourced version of his wand, that kind of stuff, and I love Snape, and I thought what better to have on my emo bag than this emo dungeon bat, and I thought that would be perfect. I have some more safety pins back here. There's 3 of them. They're really just here to add to the noise of the bag. This is another Harry Potter thing. This was found in my room. It came off of an old backpack that I had. The backpack was bought before all of the JK Turf stuff. So I had bought this, I had bought a bag. I can't remember if it was technically a backpack or what it was, but it was like an old backpack that I had that's probably in the bottom of my closet somewhere because I haven't seen it in several years. But this was actually part of the zipper, and it broke off. It was the handle of the zipper, so I used the pliers that I used to put all of the studs on the bag. This is the side pocket studs, by the way, to take off the broken ring part, and I attached it to this little keychain bit. And I added it on for, like, the added sound effect. And I like the fact that this isn't something I had to go and buy. This is something I just found randomly in my room. Like I said, stuff was either randomly found in my room or thrifted from places, bought from Etsy, that kind of stuff. But just like with the little Snape, again, I don't support JKR. I have not in years, ever since she started coming out and being the worst. And this was on a bag that was bought before all of that, and I had no idea she was doing that. So, this little guy, I love him. I do not know his name, but this was bought from an Etsy shop, and I think it's so adorable. I loved when stuff had just like weird little like skeleton bits on it when I was a teen. And I love that the little fingers are kind of nimble and move. And I thought that this fit in perfectly with the theme of the bag. So there's just like a little hand. And I think it goes perfectly with this little hand here. This keychain here is the most ASMR keychain on the entire bag. I prefer the sounds that come off of a plastic keychain rather than a metal keychain. I love that sound, and like when it hits other stuff, like I prefer that sound. This is a Bram Stoker's Dracula movie keychain. The movie Bram Stoker's Dracula was honestly my favorite ever as a teenager besides Sweeney Todd, and it is still to this day one of my favorite vampire movies ever. Like I said previously, I love movies and TV shows about vampires and witches, and I was obsessed with this movie as a teenager. This has one of my favorite quotes on it. It says, "Listen to them, the children of the night, what sweet music they make." And this is one of my favorite quotes from the movie. Honestly, probably my most favorite quote from the movie is, "I have crossed oceans of time to find you." But the only other keychain that I could find that had that quote on it was like a $16 keychain for a keychain that was like this big. And it was not worth the money because it was so small. And then the other side of the keychain has different words that are important to the story. Like it has the names of the character like Dracula, Mina, Lucy, but it's also got locations like Transylvania, and it's got the name of the mountain. It says Abraham Van Helsing on the side. Got Whitby Manor on the bottom. Like, so I like that it has a lot of like names and locations on it of characters and places in the story. And then my favorite quote from it on the back. I love that sound when it hits the hand. Oh, my favorite. Okay, this is another little Funko thingy. Anyone who knows me knows that I have an addiction to little Funko thingies. And this is a Funko of Agatha Harkness from Marvel. She is featured in WandaVision first, and then in her own TV show, Agatha All Along, that came out last year. I know that this doesn't really have anything to do with like my emo days, but she's a witch. And she's dressed in dark clothes, and I thought she would be perfect on the bag, and she fits in with that. Plus, Agatha Harkness is one of my favorite Marvel characters. Honestly, I'd say she's in like my top 3. She's my number 2. My number 1 favorite Marvel character is Tony Stark, and then it's her, and then it's Loki Laufeyson. And so I really wanted this keychain of her. I have another keychain of her that I'm trying to figure out, do I want to put it on my regular purse or keep it on my bookshelf where it is right now? But I thought her being a witch in dark clothing, she would fit in with the vibe of this bag. This keychain is actually my favorite on the entire thing. It looks kind of busted because it is kind of busted. This is a 30-year-old keychain. Not joking. I love Phantom of the Opera. My family introduced me to Phantom of the Opera at a very young age. I'm sorry I keep holding stuff down here. It's just where the bag is sitting. My family introduced me to, if I can get the light to, you can see like the contours of its face a little bit. My family introduced me to Phantom of the Opera when I was about 9 months old because my mother, my aunt, and my grandmother all went to see the play for the first time. And then sometime after that, my mom and my dad went to see it together. And this keychain was brought home from that first production that my mom went to. So I was 9 months old when they got this, and I'm almost 30. So this is like a 3 decades old keychain. She gave this to me when I was a kid because she'd had it forever. And it's the only keychain on here that's got this weird little, like you screw it on and off, basically. It's the most bizarre little thing. I've never seen that on a keychain before. But I have had this just like randomly throughout my life, and I've never put it on anything, and I love it so much. I actually saw Phantom of the Opera when it was touring nationwide when I was 12 years old, and I really hope they start touring again nationwide because I would love to see it again. This means so much to me. I really want to get a Phantom of the Opera tattoo. I own sheet music for it. I'm not a big fan of the film. I did see it when it came out when I was 9, I believe. I was like 8 or 9 when it came out in like 2004. And I did watch it, and I watched it several times over the years, but ever since I've gotten hold of a DVD copy of the 25th anniversary edition from Albert Hall, that is what I watch. I love the music from this. I love the story from this. I own the book. I think that this is such a beautiful musical. I love it so much. It started my love of musicals. And it's, I believe, technically considered a like gothic romance or like a gothic horror romance. So I think that it fits in with the theme of the bag, and I've always wanted to be able to use this keychain of the Phantom's mask on something, and I just think it's so perfect. and Phantom reminds me of so many people that I love for so many different reasons, because so many people I love this musical. So this really reminds me of a lot of people and things that I love. And this last keychain was gotten for me by my sister from Spencer's, I believe. It is an adorable Grim Reaper eating a slice of pizza, which is very much my sister, but also really reminds me of my brother, because my brother's favorite food, I'm pretty sure, is pizza. And again, lactose intolerant, dude is eating cheese. So yeah, that's all of the keychains together. All the not noisy ones are like here in the back. I thought about putting them on the other side of the bag and then just putting all the noisy stuff here, but I don't want to like really take all this away and make this look almost like it's all just in the front, you know? So this is all of the keychains that are on the side. This is the sound it makes. It's so noisy and obnoxious. My mom always had a lot of keychains and still does on her keys, so we can hear her coming from like a mile away in a store and we always know where she is. So I find the sound of like jangly keychains to be extremely comforting. I have a lot of keychains on my actual keys that are inside of this bag. Like I said before, this is not my usual purse. I have a regular black purse that I actually have matching with my sister that I carry. This I carried for the first time today, and I think it's probably going to be more of like my computer bag. So it's probably going to be more of a thing of like I take this out when I'm working outside of the house, and my regular purse will be my everyday purse. If for some reason anyone watching this is at all interested in seeing my other purse and seeing the keychains on that purse, there's not nearly as many as this, and wants a tour of like those keychains and also of all the stuff I keep in my bag. I don't know if people still do a what's in my bag challenge type of thing, or if that's 10 years ago, but if that's something any of you want to see, I will do it. But yeah, so this is my bag. This is the noise of the bag, and I just love it. I'm so grateful I found Tyler's video because I feel like it was such good inspiration. This was a really great project for me, and it was so fun. It took a long time and I was in a lot of pain afterwards because I do have disabilities with my wrists, but I think this was such a fun thing to do, and I'm absolutely obsessed with how it turned out, and I just really love it. And I can't wait to take it out of the house this weekend when I go work. And I did take it out today, but I feel like it'll hit different when I'm using it for its actual purpose. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this little tour through my new computer bag. I don't know how interesting it was, but if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I know this isn't my usual type of content. I usually make stuff to do with reality shifting, but I thought it would be nice to show you guys what I get up to when I'm on my shifting breaks. If you guys have any other ideas for content you want me to make that has nothing to do with shifting, please let me know in the comments below. But also, if you do have ideas for shifting videos and you are one of the people coming from my shifting content, then please also leave those in the comments below. Down in the description, you can find all of my social media. You can also find the email where you can reach out to me for a shifting tarot reading and the shifting podcast I run with my best friend, as well as my best friend's social media links. If you have not already subscribed to my channel and you would like to, please hit the big red subscribe button, join the family. I would love to have you. Please turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted to every time I post. I think that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I love you. Bye.